It is the voice of Indiana County. It's WCCS 101.1 FM, AM 1160, and WCCSradio.com. Indiana County Commissioner Shireen Hess not with us this morning, but Mike Keith and Robin Gorman are. Good morning, folks.
Good morning, Todd.
It's good to have you both with us. Our conversation this morning presented by Marcus & Mack, voted Best Law Firm and Best Personal Injury Lawyer 3 years in a row in the Best of Indiana County contest. Visit them online at marcusandmack.com. This is our first visit since the announcement by Commissioner Gorman that she's no longer going to be a part of the board. For those, Robin, who don't know, could you explain exactly what's going on with that?
Yeah, a lot can happen in a month, huh, Todd?
Yeah.
Yes, I've resigned my position as county commissioner effective November 8th. The process has already been underway and decided, so Bonnie Dunlap will be my successor. And I will be taking a vice president position at the new power plant that is refiring at Homer City Redevelopment, LLC. And the reason I said it that way is a lot of people brought to my attention when I announced that they didn't know what that was, and some thought it was a municipal authority being redevelopment.
It actually sounds like
right?
that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I am just ecstatic about this move. Of course, I did say it saddens me to leave the county in the role that so many have given me confidence in to do the job for them. But this is good, and I'll be helping our county from a totally different seat. And I'll tell you a little secret. The last time I was on the radio show, if you remember, I knew, and so did you, that Mike wouldn't be joining me or Shireen. And I was getting comments before I even left the courthouse about, hey, is somebody coming on Monday? Is somebody coming next Monday? And I was praying on the way over here, Todd, please don't ask me about President Trump coming, and please don't ask me about Homer City Power Plant.
I think I went 2 for 2 on that one.
Yeah, I think you did.
You done good.
Well, congratulations on the role, and of course that's going to be a really big story for us, and it is already a big story because it's good to know that there's going to be power generated out of Homer City again, huh?
Yeah, it's very exciting. And we as commissioners, even in 2020-21, when they were starting to talk then about shutting down and the possibility of all the regulations, we were just praying, right? We knew as commissioners they stayed on the tax rolls, so that was a good thing. And we also knew eventually that they had also stayed connected to the PJM grid, which was also a good sign.
Yeah.
That's why we were all taking their alignment of message, and just let them figure it out, let them do their due diligence, and hopefully and thankfully restarting up under new technology. But this is truly a game changer for our community again.
Yeah.
I have people already asking me, Robin, will I be able to tell my son or daughter they can come back and raise their families here because they never wanted to leave, i.e. the good jobs, which private companies are the ones that produce. We can create the environment, but government does not create jobs, so to speak, for good families sustaining wages. And so this will be extremely good for our community, and I can't wait to tell our story.
Yeah.
And that's part of what they hired me to do.
Yeah. And Mike, from the county standpoint, there are the nuts and bolts and the wonderful tax implications for the Homer Center School District as well. And that's a tremendous story. But the fact that we are still such a player as a county means that there have been a lot of people very, very hard at work in order to make something like this happen.
It sure is, Todd. And you've heard me say, many times before, there's a lot of things that happen in the background that we as county commissioners can't speak of. And it's because, just like Robin said, there are things in the background that have to happen. And again, Homer City Regeneration, it is a private company, okay? And that, people call us and say, we need you to do something here. We need you to do. They have to understand, under private companies, they can do their own thing as long as they stand within the perimeters, of what they have to. They need to actually be able to actually address their needs and get everything in line before they come forth to let the people know what's going on. So we have to be respectful as far as that goes, and let them do their job. At some point in time, like Robin said, and she'll probably be the one, like she said, she'll be coming out telling us the whole story, what's going to happen. And again, from what we know, like she said, this is really good for Indiana County.
Yeah, yeah. I understand from independent sources that Robin says, I'm going to make sure that that's exclusively on Indiana in the Morning.
Yes, in fact, I offered both Josh and Pat. My colleagues that I will be joining, my senior team members, said, we will gladly be at the meeting if you would like us to.
Yeah.
For me in my moment and to save them, certainly a lot of people asking a lot of questions too early. We just said, you stay away, but thank you for offering. And so we offered to do a sit-down interview with both the radio station and the Gazette.
Yeah, that's terrific news. Meanwhile, county business goes on.
It does.
It does.
And you'll be working with Bonnie now and continuing to work with Shireen. Mike, budget season, that is here. It's a really busy time of year, isn't it?
It is. And I don't we've actually even spoken August, September, October, or just the crazy months of the whole year for us. And we are well into the budget season. I will say that we've met our first round with all of our departments, and we've collectively taken the numbers back, and we have a lot of work to do, like always. But this is something that's probably the most important thing to county government, because bottom line is these dollars is what make this government in this county run. It's sad that we only have basically one principal way of revenue, and that's through taxes, and people don't like to hear anything to deal with their taxes, but that's the only big revenue that the county receives as far as doing that. Now, there's other revenues that we actually receive from other parts of the county and departments. There's other revenue streams that we always look out there to see if we can actually create and make it easier as far as the tax burden to the taxpayers. But again, we're going to do our due diligence with this round of county budget and see it through.
It's interesting, the phrase you used, bottom line is, you said. Really, it is. When you're thinking
It's the
budget,
bottom
line is really what you're looking at.
Exactly.
Yeah. And Robin, through this whole process, of course, you're not going to be the intimate part of it that you've been in the last few years. But this is something that's extremely important for the county to get right. So that takes, again, a lot of hard work by a lot of people to make sure that things are the way that they should be.
Wow, there's a lot in that, right? So 31 plus directors, departments, elected officials, offices make up our countywide budget. So yes, it is probably the most important job that we have, right? Because we're talking about our taxpayers' dollars, our residents that voted us in this office to make sure we are being as frugal and efficient with their dollars to make sure we maintain and the quality services that they deserve throughout this county. What I want to assure everyone is, and this is not a first, I'm not saying this just because I'm leaving office, Michael Keith is on our budget daily. And I mean, he looks at every single invoice, every single bill. He's in here on the weekends doing formulas and looking at budget to see where a fair cut would be needed still versus the good work that our directors and elected officials do on a daily basis, truly with us. They're a great team. It's hard work. And the second thing I want to assure everyone is I was so grateful to see Bonnie get the recommendation of our board, because Bonnie, being an auditor, has actually sat in on our budget hearings for the last
3
4
years,
years,
3 or 4 years.
So since she was an auditor, even the first term, she came over and actually asked, because there might be questions or things that she could see from the outside seat that we couldn't, that would be very good questions to ask about how to keep a budget very frugal and effective. So again, she gets budget. I think she'll be a very good partner for my colleagues going forward.
Yeah. Yeah. Mike, when the budget process gets rolling, of course, and you finally settle on numbers and everything is signed and we're good to go, that's when some big emergency comes up and an unexpected expense comes down the road and people wonder, well, how do we instantly have the money to pay for that? Unfortunately, there are some cases where there isn't the money to pay for that and it has to be shifted around. I think what I'm getting at is there's a certain amount of flexibility that has to be called in and that you have to have when you are making a budget. There are some things that you just do not have the money to do that you would really love to do and that really need to be done.
Right. And again, those kind of things are what we call priorities. So if something does come up, we look at those priorities and the things that are on the bottom of the priorities. We go to those directors or those elected officials that have the budget. We say, you know what, this is what we're into. This is what we have to take your money away for, and we have to do this. Now, there is lines of contingency that we actually plan for every year. That's in everybody's budget. We usually hit those first, but again, it's one of those things that you're right. We don't know what comes up tomorrow, and we have to be somewhat prepared for it.
Are there other big milestone moments coming up here in the very near future for Indiana County? No, nothing really.
There's no election upon us, right?
Yeah. What election would that be? The election is a big deal, and that's probably the best place to finish our time together this morning. Here it comes. It is just around the bend, and I know that there's an awful lot of work that goes into making this happen successfully. In Indiana County, we have had people that have worked very, very long hours to make sure that happens, and we anticipate no problems, but you never know.
Yeah, and again, we look at Robin Mary, Debbie Streams, Will, those individuals, along with the people that are working in their staff. I mean, every day, for I don't know how many months they've been preparing for this upcoming election, and again, it's the big one. We're voting on President of the United States, along with some other county, state, and local officials. But this is the big one, and I mean, it's not like we all sit back and don't do anything on the other ones. But again, doing our due diligence to make sure the I's are dotted, the T's are crossed, and everything is right that day.
Yeah, has to be.
Yeah, and I echo that. Robin has she got the Chief Clerk of the Year award this past year at CCAP. She's got 40 years, Todd, in doing elections, working throughout the county in court-related business. Debbie Streams has 30. So Wilson comes from a background of elections. And what I would ask the people to do is listen for consistency. So we try to tell people we have had the same voting machines since 1987. Mm-hmm. They're the same machines. They're not hooked into the internet. Your ballots are, if for all intent and purposes, handwritten. You fill in the little bubble. You place it through a scanner, which is nothing more than that. It drops your ballot into the bottom. It's their hard copy. Everything is segregated by precinct that you vote by. And if we had to do a hand count, we have them all by hand to do a count, including the mail-in ballots that are no different than filled in by the bubble and mailed in, and they're segregated as mail-in. They're all checked for proper registration. They're all checked against, everyone has voted in the past, and this isn't a new voter that didn't show ID. The consistency is just, it proves itself that we have fair and integral elections in this county. Mm-hmm. That I can speak to. Everywhere else is on the other commissioners and their staff to make sure they're doing the same things to deliver safe and integral elections.
Yeah. And let's pray that everything goes well again this year. Thank you both for coming in to visit with us. Is this our last visit with you,
It is. How
Robin?
about that?
Well,
I'm sorry to look so happy about that. But.
You can, well, sure. Thanks. It's me. I know. You can come back in your new capacity, too, anytime you want, okay?
Thank you, Todd.
It is Indiana in the Morning, and it's WCCS.